Hey everybody, welcome to another Age of Sigmar battle report. This is the second one that I've done, and this one is going to be a 2,000 point battle report. It's also going to throw in a bunch of extra stuff that the first one didn't. So this is going to be 2,000 points. It's going to have Malign sorcery, so we're going to have endless spells. It's going to take place in the realm of beasts. It's going to have two completely different armies than I showed you last time. We're going to make full use of all the points in the General's Handbook and the different allegiance abilities and artifacts and all that kind of good stuff. So before I jump into it, just want to show you, here's the Malign Sorcery book. This is going to have all the rules and stuff for the couple of endless spells that are going to show up. And this also has extra rules for if you want to have your army come from a specific realm, get access to extra spells and things. I looked to that here. I'm just kind of taking the artifacts and things and the spells from the various armies. And if you can't tell from the title, this is going to be a Legions of Nagash army, which is going to be a Legion of Sacrament, which has a lot of the Night Haunt, which I showed in the first one. So it's going to have some old Night Haunt and some new Night Haunt that you get out of the Soul Wars box. The other army is going to be Ironjawz, and those are big old hulking orcs, or aurochs, I should say. And dovetailing off of that, the Orc allegiance abilities and rules are in the General's Handbook 2018. Now, the War Scrolls and the lore and all that kind of stuff is in the Ironjawz Handbook, or excuse me, Battle Tome. And this is a very old battle tome, relatively speaking, in the history of Age of Sigmar. So this doesn't have any allegiance abilities or artifacts and things like that. They have taken and updated the General's Handbook with some of that stuff for some of the older armies. So you kind of need both, but not really. But I am going to use a battalion in the case of the Ironjawz, which is the Weird Fist Battalion, because it's a super fun battalion. I don't know if it's good, but it's super fun. And then, like I said, here is the Legions of Nagash book. And this is a cool book because it's a death book, and you can take your kind of specific death factions like Night Haunt and get the Night Haunt book and all that stuff. But you can also kind of splash in a lot of extra death stuff, and they give you a whole bunch of different sort of legions, Sacrament, Blood, and Night. And so you kind of mix and mash all of the undead stuff. So we're going to use that. And like I said, it's going to take place in the realm of beasts. And I want to just quickly, I don't usually talk about this kind of stuff in here, but there's these two books here, City of Secrets and The Silver Shard. I forgot the title of that one. I just finished reading this one, really good. This is kind of the sequel. The Silver Shard is a sequel to City of Secrets here. I like this. It's set in the realm of beasts. It's more focused on kind of the everyday average Joe kind of vibe, other than, like, you know, Stormcasts and the gods and all the chaos stuff, which is sort of, I would say, inaccessible a little bit. Although reading these has me kind of wanting to go back and read the other stuff. So this is set in the realm of beasts, kind of a little bit inspired by those books. And we're going to do a mishmash of match play. So it's 2,000 points, but I'm going to do sort of open war cards or open war random deployment and all that kind of stuff. So I'll show you that when we get into it. And so it's kind of the best part of Age of Sigmar, I think. You know, use the points to sort of balance everything out, get it relatively in the same ballpark, but then instead of playing kind of the same old, you know, match play scenarios, you can take and pick and choose from narrative scenarios, open war plans, and all that kind of stuff. So I use a little bit of randomness here, a little bit of choice from the cards, and then so it'll be interesting. So let's jump down to the table and show you. So here you can see these open war cards, and these cards just represent what's currently in the General's Handbook, just a different way to kind of randomize them. So I just drew some cards. So here's the deployment, really basic deployment, two sides of the table, but it's going to be long ways instead of across the 4-foot side of the table. And then here we have the twist, which I'm going to show you first. Now this is interesting because this says subtract 1 from move characteristic of all models, subtract 1 from all run and charge rolls. And if you roll doubles on your charge, then you're going to take D3 mortal wounds. And that's interesting because the Ironjawz want to run and charge and get up the table really fast. So they have to be a little bit wary. We are in the realm of beasts. Things are sort of big and crazy, so there's big earthquakes going on right now. And then finally, the overall objective is going to be a meteor shower. So there are going to be a few different spots where our objective markers could land. We're going to have 3 objective markers land in various spots on the board. Once we get to that, which will be at the start of the 3rd battle round, we're not going to know where they're at until we're into the 3rd round. We're going to roll some dice and then do some different placements of the 3 objective markers. And the winner is going to be the one who controls the most of those at the end of round 5. And just for fun, I painted up some of these endless spells here as objective markers. They've all got the same size base, and they all look kind of deathy. So they've got a bunch of skulls and things floating around. So I'm just going to say that the orcs and this undead army are trying to capture these endless spells and kind of master them. It's kind of a shakeout from the Necroquake. So if you're familiar with a little bit of the lore that I talked about in the last video, or actually in my introduction to Age of Sigmar video, this is sort of the fallout for that. And it kind of goes with the twist of having an earthquake and so on. So these won't appear done until the third battle round. So I've gone ahead and set up deployment for the armies. Just going to kind of quickly walk through them. First here you can see a mega boss on Maw Crusher. That's the general for the Ironjawz. Now this guy's modeled as Gordrak, but I'm running him as a mega boss. So he looks like he's the big bad, but he's just kind of the half bad. And so he's going to be running our general there. And then if we zoom in over here, you can see a Weird Knob Shaman right there. And he is running the Weird Fist Battalion, which is going to be a group there of these. You can see the Brutes there, and then the little unit of 20 Ard Boys, and then some more 2 units of 5 Brutes back there. So that's a single drop there. And then this fella here is kind of hiding behind his shoulder pad, is a regular Mega Boss on foot. And he's going to be running kind of adding support for all those different melee units. And then scooching the Mega Boss on Maw Crusher out of the way, we have here the Mushroom Shaman here. He's a very cheap spellcaster. He also has a command ability to help with charges. And then also here the War Chanter, who's going to help reroll 1s, if I remember correctly, in combat. And then speaking of the endless spells here, we can see we have this Burning Skull, which is going to cruise around the battlefield and do damage. It's also going to help with combat. And then we also have the cogs here. These are the chronomantic cogs, and these allow spellcasters to cast extra spells, and that's if they want to slow down time. If they want to speed up time, then they can actually increase the move and the charge, again, which is going to help out with this horde of Ironjawz. Not quite a horde, but the massive Ironjawz there to rush up the field. Oh, and I should say, in case you're new, these do not start on the field. I'm just showing there as an example. These will be cast later on, hopefully, and deployed. Now over here we actually do have a horde of an army. This is our Legion of Sacrament. It's going to be a mix of Night Haunt and some zombies and some vampire characters there. So on this side we're going to be running here this little unit of Spirit Host. Actually you can see 2 units, one there and then one kind of tucked in behind there, and then a unit here of Hex Wraiths. And then as well, way over on the other side of the table, you can see that unit of Hex Wraiths, another unit of Spirit Host tucked in back there. And these are going to be augmented by 2 30-man units of zombies. Now these are not Games Workshop, we'll say official zombies. These are actually from a zombie side, Green Horde. And I really like these. These are just, they're the same base size, but you can see they are orcs, which makes sense because they're going to be fighting orcs. So they've already killed some orcs, and they've now resurrected them to fight and kill some more orcs. So that's fun. And then back here is this Joker here. Here's the Necromancer. And he's got a nice ability that sort of augments those zombies and allow them to kind of pile in and do some double attacks. Up here is kind of our big fella, or excuse me, let's call them our big gals. And this is the Coven Throne here. And this is a trio of vampire women that are riding this cool kind of chariot, this giant chariot. And this is going to be overall helping heal and summon more undead units as they die and help them out with a combat. Now we do have a couple of newer Night Haunt units. We can take a look there. We can see there's the Chain Rasp Horde. Now we're running a set of 20 of those. Now those are going to be augmented by these 2 little sneaky fellows in the back. So if you remember him from the last battle report, here is a Knight of Shrouds on a steed. He's going to help them with their combat. And then this guy here is going to, he's the Guardian of Souls, and he's going to be kind of the healer. Now not only is he going to be healing up and sort of returning back the dead Chain Rasp hordes, he's also going to be able to help out here with the Spirit Hosts and then the Hex Wraiths, theoretically anyway. Now the other neat thing about the Legion of Sacrament is before you start deploying, you're going to put out these little grave markers. And so you put 2 in your battle deployment area. So there's one there, and then there's one right there. And then I threw out 2 more. You can see there, one behind that rock, and then there's one way down there at the other end of the table. And what these are is you can actually pull units off of the board, and then if you get a hero within a certain distance, depending on the hero, then you can summon units out of there. But right now I decided I'm going to deploy all the units on the field because we don't really know where the objectives are going to be. And there's one easy way to sort of counter that is if the enemy unit kind of surrounds that, and so there's no way to legally place a summoned unit that's 9 inches away or more from the enemy. It's very easy to kind of choke that off. So I put these out here, so what they're going to be good for is summoning back dead units that have been killed, and then some other kind of shenanigans that you can do with these gravestone markers, which I'll talk about as we go into it. And then the two endless spells that I chose for the Legion of Sacrament are the Purple Sun of Shaiish and then the Shaiish Reaper. Now the Purple Sun is, why not? It's 100 points to pay for it to put it in your army, but it's a big destructive thing. So I thought that would be fun. So we'll go ahead and pull him off for now. And then the Shaiish Reaper here is interesting. Now this can only be cast by Nagash himself, the Lord of the Undead, or a Night Haunt wizard, which the Guardian of Souls, which I showed you earlier, I'll just bring him out here as a reminder, only he on this particular team is able to cast that. So he's going to probably be casting that sort of early until he has something that he needs to heal up. So those are the two spells in play for the Night Haunt, or Legion of Sacrament, I should say. So a couple other things about the battlefield. You'll notice that, hey, there's a giant there, and there's a giant way over there. Now, this one looks a little bit different because he's a frost giant. And one of the rules that you can set up for the environment of running in the Realm of Beasts is you can have each side have a monster that is sort of neutral, but if it's whoever it's closest to, so let's just zoom down here to our normal sort of, let's call him a cave giant. So this is set up and deployed 9 inches away from them, and then the frost giant over there is 9 inches away from the Oryx. So because this is closer to the undead player, then in this case the Ironjawz will control this for their turn and so on. So it's kind of, everybody's kind of playing with a sort of endless spell that you can take control over, depending on where this ends up being. And everybody gets kind of a free giant because we are in the Realm of Beasts. And yes, we were wandered in here to try to collect those endless spells, but hey, these giants happen to live here, and we've kind of wandered into their domain. So we're going to have to contend with them as well. And we also do get access to a new spell that's going to allow us to charge more, which is another thing in favor, again, of the Ironjawz. So it's kind of, the earthquake kind of atmosphere hopefully kind of balances out a little bit of their charge specialities. So since the Ironjawz had, I think it was a 4 or 5 drop deployment because of their battalion, then they're going to go first. They're going to choose to go first and try to get up here and smash these guys a little bit maybe. And then these guys had like a 9 drop deployment. But again, we don't know where on this battlefield these objectives are going to be. And that is the only way to win the game. Whoever controls the most, so 2 out of 3, is going to be the winner at the end of round 5. So if the Ironjawz player just rushes up the field and all the objectives, or 2 of them, drop back here, you can see there's actually a gravestone marker there, so they might have to deal with that. But the undead player, like I said, has gone ahead and deployed all of those things anyway. So we'll see how much of a deal is. Oh, I almost forgot. The realm gates are also in place. So here's a realm gate there and over there. So there is actually a way to also teleport. I thought that would be kind of interesting. So you need a wizard in place, and if I get a wizard within I think it's 6 inches of that or 3 inches, then they can cast a spell to teleport a unit through it over to the other side if nobody is surrounding it, which in this case both sides are currently doing. So let's go into Ironjawz turn 1. Now one interesting thing to know about the Ironjawz, they normally get +1 on their charge rolls, but since we're playing on the earthquake with the twist, this is going to kind of negate that. They do have -1 to move, but they do have a special allegiance trait where you can pick each hero and you can roll a die. You add 2 to the die if it's a mega boss. So the mega boss on Maw Crusher, as well as this mega boss over here, is going to add 2, and then they can pick a unit and have them move in the hero phase. So let's go ahead and do that for this guy here. So we're going to add 2, so on a 4 up, yep, he's going to go ahead and nominate this unit here of brutes, who are already as slow as dirt, so they're only going to be able to move up 3. So we've just inched them forward there in the trees. And now we're going to roll here for the War Chanter. He needs a straight 6. Oh, look at that, 6. So I'm just going to double check that this group here is wholly within 12 inches, and they are. So we're going to move up those Ard boys, who again only get to move 3 inches. So you can see it's kind of important to be moving up in this case. So you can see we kind of moved them up there to maybe make a beeline and make a charge on that giant and take him out of the action. So next we're going to roll for the Shaman. He needs a straight 6. Oh, didn't quite get it there, only got a 5. And then back over here, you can see that Mega Boss there. He's going to try to get, let's see, we'll just kind of tuck in one of these units of brutes. He needs a 4 to be able to do that. He got that. So we're going to tuck in this unit of brutes here just behind, like so. Now, I'm not going to use any command abilities. I do have the one command point I got to start of the round. I am going to have the Shaman here try to cast Mystic Shield on that group of Ard boys. So I need a 6. Ooh, I did not get it. Then I'm going to have the Grot Shaman here try to cast the Cogs, which is a casting value of 7. Try to get 7. Nope, didn't get that either. So now we're into the move phase, but the first thing I'm actually going to move is over here. We're going to move this giant and get him kind of interlocked with the spirit hosts. Now he's got a variable move because he is kind of a monster, so he can move 8 right now, so -1 is 7, which is going to be plenty of room to get him outside, just outside 3 inches of the spirit hosts. So he's moved in there for hopefully an easy charge. And we're going to move our big fella up 11. And you'd think since he could fly that the earthquake wouldn't affect him, but maybe he has trouble landing. But that's not what the rules say. So we're just going to scooch him right up to there. I kind of want to keep him this side. These guys want to be bunched together. This guy has a command ability as well as the Mega Boss there that'll really beef up the attacks of a lot of the units. So they kind of want to stay clumped up a little bit. Then we're going to scooch these guys up another 3. And this Grot's a little bit faster. He can go up 4. We're going to get him over this way though, just to scooch. These guys will both go up 3. These guys will scooch up about 3. Will that leave them outside of 3? Yeah, a little bit more than that. And they're getting ready to take on that Frost Giant. Once again, we'll kind of scooch these guys up just a tick, like so. We'll move the Mega Boss up there, and then scooch these guys up. And actually, I should have declared this when I moved, but I'm going to go ahead and do a run with the Mega Boss here, and then also the other Mega Boss, just to kind of get them up a little bit more. So first we're going to do the Maw Crusher. He gets to go another 4, because I don't plan on having them charge, and then the other Mega Boss will go up 6, which is more than I need. But again, those are reduced by 1, so we're going to go an extra 3 only with this guy, and this guy will go an extra 5. And you know what? Let's just have that group run too. I get another 6, so another 5. I need to keep these guys separate so I don't group them into the same unit. That's movement. Let's go into charge for the giant. He's going to go 6, so -1. That'll be 5, which is more than enough to knock him into there. And then we're going to try to get the Ard boys there into combat with the other giant. So they get 11. That's a good roll because it's not a double, so they can only move 10, but I can kind of worm them around over there. So you can see that's more than enough to completely surround the giant. Let the little daisy chain of fellows back there to stay within 6 inches of the Mega Boss who's right back here, just so I can use his command ability maybe next turn easily. So that's our 2 charges. So since we're pointed at them, we're going to go ahead and use these guys here. They've all just got choppas and smashes. They're nothing really special. There's drummers and banners and stuff like that in there, but there's no shields or anything like that. We're going to go ahead and initiate combat with them first. So these are hitting on 4s and wounding on 3s. So good little distribution of hits there. They're going to be wounding on 3s. So we got 2, 4, 6, 8, 10 hits. And giants suck. They get a 5-up save. So we got to get 5 ups here. Probably roll all 5s. Okay, that's 7 hits, which is going to put that giant there down to 5 hit points. So the death player is going to be able to attack back with that frost giant, but first we're going to go ahead and activate here the spirit host. And actually, a little bitty of a mistake, but not really. That hex, he's actually within 3 inches of those hex wraiths as well. So these guys are going to get a 3-inch pile-in. They're going to make some room so the hex wraiths will be able to attack them back pretty good. And they can fly, so this guy could probably, yeah, he can jump over here for his pile-in. I'm just going to put him here. He could be technically kind of wedged in there. Not that big a deal. So they have now piled into that giant. And these guys get a whole mess of attacks. They get 6 attacks each. They only hit on a 5, but every 6 they roll on a hit is going to do automatic 1 mortal wound to him. So it's going to be 18 attacks. Rolling on 5s, but wanting 6s. So we got 2 6s. So we just have these other 2 here. And we want 4s on these. So they don't get that. So just the 2 mortal wounds there to the giant. So he's got 10 hit points left. He's all right. So we're going to go ahead and activate him. And he has a cool special ability that he's going to roll a die at the start of his combat. If he rolls double the wound characteristic of a model he's engaged with, then he just eats them. Now these guys are 3 wounds each, so he has to roll a 6, and then he can then eat that ghost, which is funny. So we're going to go ahead and roll, get a 6. Oh, too bad. That would have been funny. So he fails that. Now he's still at the top of his kind of the bracket here. I'll just kind of show you the app if I can. So you can see if he's taken 0 to 2 wounds, he's still kind of at full capacity, but any more than that, he starts to drop in movement and his ability to do damage, which the other frost giant over there who just got whacked in the head has dropped significantly. So now he's going to roll his fun attacks. Giants suck, but they're really fun. So he's going to do his massive club here, and his massive club is 3d6 attacks. So we're going to see how many attacks he gets here. He gets there 15 attacks out of his club. So we're going to roll 15 dice, hitting on 3s and wounding on 3s. So 3s, wounding on 3s. That's all of them. Now it does have a rend of -1, but remember from last time, these Night Haunt ghosts all ignore rend. Now they do have a 4-up save, so we're going to roll these. Let's see, so these are all misses, so they get 4 hits. So that's we're gonna pop that one off just to make that much more room. And then we're gonna tuck a wound, whoops, back here on that fellow there. So he's actually, whoops, he's got 2 wounds left. So now the giant's got another attack. He's gonna use his headbutt, which is super funny because it's also a ghost. He gets only 1 attack here, it's a 4-up. Oh, that's a miss. And that one can do quite a bit of damage, d6 damage. Then he's gonna do a kick, and this is a 3-up. Gets that. That's going to be 3 to wound, which again, rend -2 doesn't mean anything, but it's going to do d3 damage, which is 1 damage. So he's going to take another damage. He's going to be down to 1 health there. And just so you know, I'm not forgetting the Deathless Minions, so they do give a 6-up final save when they take damage, but they're more than 6 inches from many of these heroes, so they did get kind of left out to dry, so to speak. So that's all the attacks from the giant. So I think we're just going to go ahead and pile in here with these hex rays. Let's see if I can get... Now this guy can get me in here. Now they only have a 1-inch range, so I may not get very many attacks, but he's already attacked. So we're going to scooch these guys in. So these guys are scooched in. Now all I can get 3 of them in range. This guy out here and then the guy over there are not within range, but we're going to get 3 guys worth of attacks in. So that's going to be 6 attacks from the riders, hitting on 4s, but we want 6s again for the mortal wounds. So we got that. These are all misses. We're going to roll this one. This needs to be a 3-up. That's a hit. And that does rend -1, which is going to put that giant at a 6-up save. So he fails that. So it's 2 damage there to the giant. So we'll knock him down to 8. Now the steeds themselves are going to attack. So these are going to be 4s and 5s. So 2 hits and then 5s to wound. That's 1. There's no rend on that, so it's a 5-up save. He does save it. Now this giant is very much weakened, but he does get a chance to eat one of those orcs there. Now these are 2 wound orcs, so he needs a 4 to eat one. He eats one. And I know there's a drummer in here somewhere. He's going to eat the drummer, because why not? So since he's been weakened quite a bit, he's only going to get 2d6 attacks with his club instead of 3d6. Now that's still okay. That's 11 attacks. These are 3s and 3s. Oh, that's a pretty good roll there. Oh yeah, it is. So 3s to wound. And that's a rend -1. I've got no shields in that group of Ardboys, so these are just going to be from a 4-up to a 5-up save. And that is going to be a little bit brutal for them. So we've got, let's see, 5 hits, so that's going to be 2 dead Ardboys and then a wound on another one. So we're just going to pop these 2 that are hanging out here in the back off. And we'll just stick a wound on this guy right here, kind of in the middle. We're going to do a headbutt, 4-up, nope. Then we're going to do a kick, which is a 3. Got a 3 and 3 to wound. Got that, that's a -2 rend. So that's going to take them to a 6-up save. Fails it. That's going to do D3 damage. So that's 3 damage. That's going to be, this guy's going to die because it's going to take 1 off of him. And then another 2 damage, which will kill another one. I think we'll just grab this sucker way in the back there. Just pick him off. So even though the giant's weakened, he did a fair bit of damage in that particular play. So we are going to go into battle shock phase. I could use a command point in terms of the orcs to prevent them, but I think I'm okay. They have a banner. It raises their bravery to 8. We lost 5 guys. So chances are I might lose another 1 or 2, and I think I'm okay with that. I don't want to spend the command point to prevent the battle shock. So let's go ahead and roll a die here. So we've got 5 guys dead. We're going to add this to it. Ooh, that's another 5, so that would be 10 total. Now their bravery's up to 8. So we're going to lose 2 more guys, which is not good, but also not the end of the world for that crew. And that is the end of turn 1 for the Ironjawz. So I have a similar dilemma here with the command abilities of the Coven Throne, which allows you to reroll hit, wound, and save rolls for a death unit. And then the Steed, this guy, I could use his command ability, whoops, and do something similar and add the buff up the attacks of one of these Night Haunt units. He's a Night Haunt specific buff. But I really don't know what's going to happen, so I don't want to waste a command point on something. And while I'm thinking about casting spells here, I realized that I didn't re-roll a save roll of 1 on the Mystic Shield for the Ard boys over there. So I went back and actually looked at the tape. It took me a few minutes. And I got 1-1 on that save. So if I can make a 5, because there was rend on that attack, I can actually save an Ard boy. Oh, I made one. So that's interesting because I know that's a takesy-backsy, but I'm also trying to juggle 100,000 things here. So that's going to be 1 save. So there should be, yeah, there's nobody with a wound. So I can put a guy back out with a wound. There will be a guy with a wound, which will also reduce the amount of guys I lost, which means I would have lost 1 less guy on Battle Shock. Now in a tournament, that would not fly whatsoever, but that's okay because I'm doing a double fist here. So I'm going to go ahead and put this guy back out here with a wound on it, like so, just kind of a little bit of takesy-backsy there. Okay, so finally back to turn 1 for Legion of Sacrament. Not going to do any command abilities. I can't really do any spells, any of the endless spells anyway, because you need to have 6 inches around you to be able to place it there, and then they can move it out. But I don't really want to drop, for example, this evil fella right here, and then only be able to move it up 9 inches just to have it turn around and just do slaughter my own guys, because again, the opponent can't get a chance to take control of those endless spells if they get last in turn order on the following round. So I want to be a little bit careful with that. And there's not a lot of other useful things that I can cast. I could cast the Dance Macabre on that, which allow them to pile in and attack twice. But the only thing they could really get after is this giant who's going to be surrounded anyway, so it's not even worth trying to cast all this stuff. So we're going to go right ahead into the movement phase. What I'm going to do is move that group of Hex Rays 11. Normally they move 12. So we're going to move them 11. We're going to try to get them up over to here to kind of lock things up in the middle, sort of slow the progress down and sort of choke them out right in there. So we got them in a little bit tight there. So they are within charge range. They're about 9 or 10 inches from this unit of Ard boys there. Now we're going to go ahead and run this unit of zombies up. So we're going to add this -1, so 1, and they already moved -1, so that's only going to be a 4-inch run. So they're going to stagger forward there. We'll go ahead and just do the same with these zombies here. Let's see how much they get to run. So that's going to be 3 plus 3 is 6. Because remember, there's reduced movement. So they scooched up closer. I think even with the run, they're still outside of charge range here. Not that I could charge. Just want to check this. Oh yeah, they're just about 11, 12 inches there. And down here with the giant, these guys are all kind of set for now. We could do a little something with these spirit hosts. I think they're going to hang back. We're going to go ahead and move the necromancer and the throne up. And the throne has a 14-inch move, which is down to 13. I could be dumb, try to engage the mega boss, which I won't do that, because the mega boss will probably smash its face. I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I've got a screen for him. I'm just going to go ahead and tuck him in here, like so. Keep him sort of... actually, let's just move him up a little bit right there. So he's got a little bit more reach across kind of both sides of the table. We'll pack him in the middle there. And he's also within range of that realm gate, so he could pop something through, because the Ironjawz here have sort of left that open, but not too open. We'll see. I think we're going to leave these two units here, the Chain Rasp and the Spirit Host, put. We're going to move this guy just up a slight scotch there, and then move him up. Oh, yeah, he doesn't need to go that far up. We'll just sketch him in here like that. Now, there's no shooting on either of these sides here, so there's no shooting phase. What I can do is try to do a charge with those Hex Wraiths over to those Ard boys that are up there. That's actually about a 6-inch charge, since they can fly. See what we get there. -1. That's 8. -1 is 7. So he can tap right into there, like so. These guys are going to be a little bit more dicey, but they can pile in. So let's take a quick kind of scan of the battlefield. We're going to go into combat phase. These Hex Wraiths are engaged with the Ard boys there. And then, of course, the Ice Giant as well. And then if we scan, scooch down, that's about it on that side. So we're going to back up over here. And we've got this action happening over there. So the Legion of Sacrament is going to get their first opportunity. I think what we want to do is probably pile in, yeah, with the Hex Rays over here. So it's going to be 8 attacks. Looking for 6s and 5s, or 4s. So no 6s. And these are going to wound on 3s. That's all hits, and they're Ren -1. So I'll take them to a 5-up save. And they do remember they are rerolling 1s. There's that. So that doesn't matter. So they only saved 1, they missed 3. So that's 3 damage. So we're going to pop off, let's see, the guy that was wounded. And then we're going to go ahead and peel off one of these other guys that I added back. Like that. Now the Ghost Horses are going to attack with their hooves. It's 5s to wound. There's 3. No Ren, so that's a 4-up save. Rerolling 1s, saves them all. So an interesting decision now for the Ironjawz player. They could attack with the Ard boys. The Hex Wraiths haven't attacked yet, or have attacked. This Giant is weak, but he did some good damage last time. But you also have the ability down here to attack with this Giant. And he's pretty well surrounded, he's pretty beefed up. I think we're going to take our chances with the other Giant, and then attack with this fella here. So I got to decide what. So first thing you're going to do is try to eat one of these fellas here. Now he could try to eat one of the Hex Wraiths. I think he's going to do that, because to eat a Spirit Host he needs to roll a 6, and to eat a Hex Wraith he needs to roll a 4 or higher. So let's see what he gets. Oh, he got a 6 anyway, but he's going to eat one of those Hex Wraiths. It doesn't really matter. So he's going to take that one. Now he's still got his 3d6 attacks there. So before he declares his attacks, he can do the eating thing. Now I've got to figure out how to distribute the attacks. Well, I tell you what, I'm going to throw everything into the Hex Wraiths. These guys are a little bit weakened. He's got 1 hit point left. Then it's just the one guy. And then we'll just throw everything into those Hex Wraiths. So he gets 3d6 attacks with his club. That's 6, 7, 8. So 3s. These are misses. 3s again to wound. So that's 3, Ren -1, which doesn't matter. So the Hex Wraiths just stick to their normal 4-up save. I missed all of them. So it's going to be 1 damage each. So that's going to kill off another one. We'll kill this one off. And we'll just throw a wound on this fellow there. Now we're going to do the headbutt, which is 1 roll of a 4. There's a 4, 3 to wound. That's a miss. And then we're going to do mighty kick, 3s, and 3s again. That's a miss. So these guys are locked in. I don't have to worry about them. The only other attacking thing is the other Giant. He's going to go ahead and just swing right into those Ard boys. He's going to try to eat one. He needs a 4-up to eat one. Doesn't get it. Now he's down to 2d6 attacks with his club. That's only 5 attacks. So again, 3s. Those are all hits. 3s again. Those are all hits. And that's -1 rend. And so that's going to take them to a 5-up. But again, they're rerolling 1, so don't forget that. That's that one. So 2 more hits on the Ard boys. I'm just going to peel off this drummer and this other guy. This little banner here doesn't really matter. It's just adds more fear to the other side. And we're fighting the undead, so it doesn't matter. We're going to headbutt on a 4. That's a miss. And kick on a 3. And another 3 to wound. Miss. So it's time to pile in with these Ard boys here. Let's see what we can do. So now I got to figure out how to distribute these attacks there. Well, I know at least 2 have to go into the Hex Race from these 2 fellas. Yeah, let's do this. Let's put everything we can into the Hex Race. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then 4 guys into the Giant since he's relatively wounded there. So that's 8 attacks. 4s and 3s. 3s to wound. Got all those. So he's got a 5-up save. Misses them all. So that's going to put him now, he's now down to 2 health. So he's severely weakened now. So far that was a good call. So we're going to put the rest of these into the Hex Race, 4s and 3s. Yikes, that's a terrible roll. They get 1 hit in, that's going to be a 4-up save. Misses the save. That's only 1 damage on a Hex Wraith. And we'll just put it on this guy in the back here. Now over here, it doesn't really matter the order we do, so we're going to just do the Spirit Host first, and then we'll do the Hex Wraiths after that if the Giant is still around, which he probably will be. So 6 attacks, 5, but also looking for 6s. That is 2 of those, and 2 5s. So that's 2 mortal wounds, and these will wound on a 4. So those are 2 wounds. No rend, so that's a 5-up save. Misses both, so that's 4 hit points there. So that takes them down to 4. And then the Hex Wraiths. So that's going to be 4s and 3s. Also 6s will be mortal wounds. There's a mortal wound. There's 2 normal wounds. 3s. There's 1. That's a rend -1. It goes to a 6-up save. Oh, you got it. And then the hooves. Let's take the mortal wound off here. It'll be 4s and 5s. Those are misses. And 5s. We got 1. No rend on that, so that's just a 5-up save. Got it. That's all the combat. There's no bravery again over here because they're undead and they have a bravery of 10. And if we go over here, these guys lost 4 guys. And they have a bravery again of 8 because of that ugly orange banner. So we're going to go ahead and roll for our battle shock. I'm not going to spend a command point. Uh-oh. That's a 6. So that's 10, so I'm going to lose 2 more guys. So that's the end of round 1. So we're going to go ahead and roll for initiative. Blue will be the orcs, and white will be Nighthaunt. Let's go ahead and roll that. So orcs got it. They're definitely going to take it. So we're going to go here to round 2 in Ironjawz. Okay, so now we're in Ironjawz turn 2, and we got some pretty interesting decisions to make here. Now we do have our second command point, which you can see there. And so we can sort of double up on the 2 mega boss abilities here. Again, this other guy here is behind the tree. And so once we get into combat phase, we should be able to do some stuff. But we're in a weird spot here where we can't really group up too many things yet. So it's going to be more important probably to do that in round 3, but let's see how the movement and things go. The one thing we can do is if we take a look here at the Weird Knob Shaman here. He has, again, the Weird Fist ability. And so the Weird Fist ability, you're going to look at each unit that from that battalion, again, these brutes here, and then also the Ard boys, but I don't think they're within 10. They might be. No, they are not even close. So what I'm going to try to do is cast a Foot of Gork over onto, sorry for the zoom, the Hex Wraiths. And let's see if we even get it off. So I'll zoom out again. This is a little bit there. So here's the Shaman there, over to there. He needs a 10 to cast it, which is dicey. Oh, so close, an 8. So that's a failure. Now if he got a 10, then I would then roll a die for each of the units that's within 10 inches of him, which is just the 3 brutes. And then 1s, 2s, and 3s, in this case, would add 6 inches to the range, so I might be able to hit somebody else with it. And then the 4, 5, and 6 would add a mortal wound to the spell, and that works for their arcane bolts and stuff like that too. That's a little tricky with that Foot of Gork, but that could smash that Hexwraith group. We're going to go ahead and try to cast, let's see, do I want to cast the cogs or I want to get that burning head out? I don't think I'm really close enough to do any of the burning head, so let's go ahead and try to cast the cogs. So that's a casting value of 7. Oh, there we go, we got 7, but I think we're within 30 inches. Yeah, if we just zoom out a little bit, we're definitely here within 30 inches of that fellow there, so he can go ahead and try to unbind it. And all he needs to roll is an 8. He did not get it, he only rolled a 6. So the cogs just have to be 12 inches from within the caster here. I'm trying to think out of a good spot to put it, because either of these wizards here could control it. I don't want the other side controlling it as well. Let's just go ahead and plop it right behind these guys right there. Now I can, if I want slow down time, to cast another spell with this fella, and it also allows me to reroll saves. Or I could speed it up and add 2 to the movement and 2 to the charge, which will help sort of counteract that. But that's for everybody on the table too. It's not just for your team. So yeah, after some hemming and hawing, I decided I'm not going to do anything. I'm going to slow it down. I'm not going to cast another spell or anything. I'm not going to use it to speed up because I don't want everybody rushing. And I'm going to kind of keep everybody sort of put, I think. The problem is that at the start of the next round, we're going to start dropping those objective markers. I don't know where they're going to be. I don't necessarily want to get tied up into this mess if I'm the Ironjawz player, because then I'm just locked up here. I'm going to leave. You can see the Realm Gate there. They could Realm Gate away over to here. You know, that's just a bad situation. So I need to leave some people back. And like I said, you do kind of want to keep them clumped up so you can use these command abilities and things like that. Now, I do have here this guy. He is within 10 inches of those Ard boys. So I can pop his command ability to make them a little bit more effective and do a little bit more damage there. I was hoping to get that Foot of Gork off on those Hexwraiths and really kind of thin them out, because they're up to 5 strong. They've only got the 1 wound on him. And so I'd like to keep this kind of stuff locked up there. And we've got pretty good control here on the center of the board. Now this should be back over here. I was using that to clear some room here. So it is possible that an objective marker will fall right there. So we've got here this guy ready for that. I'm not going to do a whole lot of things here other than maybe I'm going to scooch these guys down just a tiny bit here. So these guys are going to move out a measly 3 inches. I'll maybe run them just a tad, get them out a little further, see what we get there. So we got 4, that's a -1 on the 3, so I'll get them out another 3 inches. So these guys are just a little bit further out there. Whoops, bump that guy. Just so they can jump back. There is a possibility that an objective could land inside these ruins. So these got somebody to come and keep claim of it. They're still here within 10 inches. Let's make sure they're within 10 inches of this guy. Oh yeah, definitely within 10 inches of that. So a little bit of more of a Morky turn than a Gorky turn, I think, for the Ironjawz. So there's not going to be any charges or anything. We're going to go into the combat phase. This guy here, he's going to pop his command ability. And what you're going to do when you do that is you're going to roll a die. Let's see what we get here. So we got a 3. And that is less than or equal to the number of units, Ironjawz units, that are within 10 inches of him. And there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I was hoping to get a 6. As it stands, these Ard boys are going to get an extra attack. They could have had extra 2 attacks if I had rolled a 6. So we popped that and used that command ability for him. If I wanted to add even more attacks, well, I could do it on this guy again. I don't know that I want to do that, because you can pop that command ability more than once. So do I want to do it again, have them fight first, and get a whole mess of attacks, and then be out of command abilities? You know, I think I might do that. Because, yeah, I think I'm going to go ahead and do that. So screw it. So I'm going to roll again. So if we get pretty much anything at this point, it's going to be... Okay, so it's going to be another attack. So that's 2 attacks. They're no longer got any command points. Maybe that's a waste. But now we're going to go into combat phase. And then, of course, I'm going to initiate combat. Over here, we can do a little bit of a pile in. So I can scooch these guys in just a bit. Everybody's in contact, so I can get... Actually, I'm going to scooch this guy just around a bit. 7 guys can attack the Hex Race, and the other 2 can attack the Giant. But they have +2 attacks now. So that's going to be 28 attacks on the Hex Wraith and 8 attacks on the Giant. So let's do the Giant first. So again, 4s and 3s. 3s. That's those 2. That's a 5-up save, and I think he's got 2 health left, so he's got to get both of those. Oh, look at that. He failed them. So that's going to kill off that Giant. He's out. So the Giant's dead, and then the other 28 attacks are going to go into these Hex Wraiths. So we're going to do 14, again, 4s and 3s. 9, 10. So we're going to add 10 to the amount of attacks here. So that's going to be 17. He's going to wound on 3s. And 8, 10, 11. These are the 4-up saves on the Hex Wraiths. Oops. 3, 6, 7. So that's going to be a few dead Hex Wraiths. Now this guy had a wound on it. And that's another 6, so that's going to be 3 more dead Hex Wraiths. And since we killed 4 of them, that is going to make those Hex Wraiths susceptible to Battle Shock. If we roll a 6 on Battle Shock, that guy is going to flee. So that Hex Wraith is going to chill out for a second. And then we're going to attack here. We've got the 2 Spirit Hosts and the 3 Hex Wraiths. Let's do the 2 Spirit Hosts first, and then this Giant will get a chance to fight back. So that's going to be 12 attacks just from the 2 guys. 6s we're looking for. That's 1. Otherwise it's 5s. So those 2, and then the 4s. Oops. So that's 1. So that is 1 mortal wound. And then this is going to be a 5-up save. So that's 2 wounds here. So he's down to 1 health. Unfortunate for the Nighthaunt player. But he just has the 1 wound left. And he'll get a chance to attack. He's going to go ahead and put some hits in on all of the Hex Wraiths and leave these guys alone. So first he's going to try to eat one of them. He needs a 4-up. Misses that. Then he gets D6 on his club because he's weak, so that's 5. That's not too bad. 4, 5. And then 3s. And 3s again. That's 3 hits. Ren doesn't matter. 4-up save. So that's 1 wound on them. That will take out this guy. He gets 1 headbutt. That's a miss. And a kick. That's a hit. And he uses a 3 to wound. That's a -2 Ren, doesn't matter. So 4-up save. Saves it. So we'll do the Hex Rays. We'll just kind of pile them around. Make some room for these little fellows here. Just in case. So there's only 2 of them. So we got these and we want a 4-up or a 6. No 6s. So 3 to wound. 1 wound. -1 Ren, so it's going to go to 6-up. And he fails it, which is going to kill him. He's only got the 1 wound left, so that's going to knock him out. Oh, and of course we have the last Hex Wraith over there. So we're going to do 4s, looking for 6s. No 6s. Looking for 3 to wound. That's going to be a -1 Ren, so that's going to go to a 5-up. Misses it. I think we'll just throw a wound on that guy there at the end. And we're looking for 4s and 5s on the hooves. Nothing. I just realized that these guys were out of coherence. So it was just a mental error. He's going to pile in that way. He would have done that if I didn't notice it. No big deal. It's 3 inches. He'd have been within 1 inch. If you have broken coherence, in case you don't know, then this guy immediately have to flee. But that's just because I'm doing a video and I didn't notice. Now back over to here into the Battle Shock phase. If I roll a 6, he's going to run. He's fine. So that was the sort of uneventful Ironjawz turn 2, but both Giants are actually dead. So it was a little bit more eventful than I actually expected. So there's no more NPCs on the board. It's just the armies at hand. So back over to this mess over here. Also some interesting stuff. I should give them their other command point for round 2. And let me take a peek at their command abilities. Okay, so they have a similar issue as to the Ironjawz because they don't know where stuff is going to land. I mean, it could all land over here. So now you've got the Realm Gate that you want to use. It could land in the backfield, which would be terrible for the Ironjawz player because they'll have to either go back to their Realm Gate to go out of here or try to chew their way through this. Now, the Undead player has a few more options. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to spend a command ability on this unit here. and this is coming out of the Coven Throne. So this unit of zombies here is going to be able to re-roll hit, wound, and save rolls for them. Now the Necromancer is going to cast Dance Macabre, which is a 6. Let's see if he gets it. So he got it. I don't think anybody's within 30 inches. Everybody's just outside 30 inches, so nobody can unbind. So that's going to allow them to pile in and attack twice. And then as far as this guy, he's also a wizard. He's going to cast the, hopefully here, the big purple ball of Shaish. Not that I'm rooting for the undead to win. I just want to root for them to cast the spell. So this has a casting value of 8. Let's see. They got it with a 10. I think they are within 30 inches. Yep. Either the Weird Knob or the Grot Shaman. They have to beat a 10 though. Let's see if they can get an 11 or 12. Oh, they only got a 9. So that's going to come out. So this guy has to come within 6 inches wholly of the caster. We're just going to tuck him back there. But then he's going to move 9 inches. So you can see this little purple sucker. He's going to have him come up right about there. Hello, Mr. Mega Boss Man. And it's not going to do anything yet. It's got to move through some stuff. But now this thing is threatening here to sort of act as a little guard on the center of the table. And this thing can straight just start deleting models. It could potentially do 2d6 mortal wounds, etc. So it's a pretty beefy thing. It does cost 100 points. So that's it in terms of command abilities. I still got, and spells, I still got some stuff I could do. Whoops, back there. The steed and everybody's kind of tucked in behind that realm gate. But I'm not going to worry about that stuff because we're going to go ahead and advance these zombies up. And let's see, we're going to move them all 3 and hopefully try to get a charge in on the Mega Boss. We'll see. So you're going to get kind of pinched from one side with the purple sun and the zombies are going to harass him. But he can fly and get away pretty quick, so I'm not too worried about him. Okay, so they've staggered up a bit. They are in a little bit better charge range. I'm not going to run with them. I'm going to keep these guys all hang back over here, just in case we get a little drop. I think I am going to go ahead and advance with the zombies over there. I'm going to leave that chain rasp horde. You can see them in the top there. I'm going to leave them hanging out. I'm going to go ahead and advance with the zombies, and then I think I'm going to... Let me move them up and measure and stuff and see if I want to do a run or if I want to try to do a charge off and lock up the Ard boys a little bit more. Let me move this guy out of the way here. Try not to knock over that tree. So I can see I moved them up a bit. They're about 12 inches away. I got to roll a double 6 to charge. They're going to take D3 mortal wounds, I believe, because of the earthquake if they do that. So I'm not going to do that. I am going to go ahead and roll to advance them, though. So we'll roll a D6. 3 minus 1, so it's only 2. But we'll go ahead and advance them another 2 inches. So we went ahead and moved them up. Now you can also see they're a little bit dangerously close to the purple sun, but who cares? They're zombies. So let's try to get a little charge off here to harass the Mega Boss. So that's 6. I don't think that's enough, actually. Nope, that is not enough. I was hoping for 7 or 8. I could spend a command point to re-roll that. I don't think that's a great idea. Yeah, because this guy can fly anyway. I mean, I can just pop him back here as a retreat and then use him later. So there's not really a reason to command point that, and he could likely like wipe that unit. Oh, I did forget somebody. This guy up here. Now, do I want to leave him? No, I think it's too late because I've seen too much of the charge rolls and the advanced rolls. I was going to maybe have him retreat, but and then eventually he could get healed by the Guardian of Souls. But to me, that feels like too much of you know, too much of the game state has changed to just redo the decision. That's not like forgetting to reroll 1s on a save. This is a little different. So I'm gonna leave him there. Although I don't know if it's the greatest idea. Maybe I do want him dead because then I have the ability to bring that whole unit back. So it's probably actually better to let him die. But I am gonna initiate combat with him because that's the only combat we've got. Now we just have the one guy. We want some 6s for mortal wounds. We're looking for 4s otherwise. There's 1. We're gonna do 3s to wound. Okay, so that's a -1 Ren, so that'll take their save to a 5 up. And I missed that. Let's see if you can see that guy. There's a guy over here with a wound. We'll take him off. And then we have the hooves, 4s and 5s. Go 5s, nothing. So now the Ard boys here will get a chance to respond. And so I've moved them in to do a pile-in. I'm not really sure. So it says if you're there and you have to attack, but it doesn't say you have to pile in. So I was thinking maybe I don't pile everybody in. I just have the one guy that was in range there. So it'd be one attack, it probably wouldn't kill him. Because I don't want him to die, right? Because I don't want him to come all the way back. However, that feels kind of against the spirit of things. But I know you don't have to pile in. You could just not pile in. It feels gamey. I'm just going to go ahead and do it and pretend it's a mistake. Pretend I'm a new player, which I am. But so we got 3 more guys in there to pile in and attack. So 4s and 3s. There's 2 hits. Watch, I'll miss them all anyway. 3s. Okay. And so he's got a 4-up save. It's got to get him at least one of them. Oh, so he saved 1. So he's got 1 hit point anyway. That's probably perfect for the Ironjawz player because he can take him out if he wants. But he's still there. And now that is the end of round 2. We're going to go into the roll-off here. This is going to be a big roll because, well, actually before the roll-off. Let me see, is it before the roll-off? Okay, no, it's after the roll-off. So we're going to go over here and see who's going to get choice of first turn again. White Nighthaunt, blue Ironjawz. Okay, so the Ironjawz get their choice again. And here's the deal. If they go first, then the Nighthaunt player is going to ram that purple skull right into him, 100%. If they choose to go second, then, but we don't know where these objectives are at. See, this is a cool decision. Because, okay, so if they go second, the Ironjawz, then they can take the purple skull. Could they jam it back into the Coven Throne? Let me measure that. Yep, they could definitely pass it within 1 inch of the zombies that are behind that orb thing and put it into there. So that would be pretty cool to do to them. Oh, what to do, what to do. Okay, so Ironjawz choice. I think they're going to go second because they're outnumbered. They don't have as good board control. I don't know. They're just outnumbered, right? And the hordes, the undead hoarder is able to bring stuff back through these different cemeteries and things, and that's going to be a big problem for them. So, and on top of that, they don't really want to take that to the face. So they're going to go second. Now, I don't know if I now get the chance to move this before we roll the objectives. I don't know that it even matters. What I'm going to do is go ahead and roll the objectives first, get those out of the way, and then I'm going to move that way to try to do damage to the zombie horde, which is right there, as well as the vampire chariot. So let's figure out where the objectives are at. So we're going to roll 3 dice, and then based on the map in the book, we're going to place them in certain spots, re-rolling any dupes. So 2, 4, 5, which is somewhat bad for the Ironjawz player. So let's take a look at the map here in the book. So you can see 2, 4, and then 5. So you're going to put the objectives in the center of those spots. So there's no objectives here that we can get through. So this one is going to go here, like that. The other one is going to go on the other side of the board. We're going to put it right there. So right away, the Nighthaunt or the Legion Sacrament player has guys there, and they also got these guys here. Now the other one's going to go in the direct center of the board. Yeah, so this is actually just going to tuck under here. Just move that slightly out of the way. It's just a little bit on top of it. So we'll take a look there. That's where that objective is. Now we're going to move this guy 9 inches back into here, which I already measured. So we're going to go and put that right there. Just tuck him in to be 1 inch from that fella there. And so that's going to do some damage to the zombies as well as the vampire ladies. So the first thing we're going to do for the zombies there, we're going to roll a die for each model, and there's 30 guys in there. And so we're going to do 15 twice for each 6. We're going to delete a model. So there is 2. We'll do it again. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So that's 7. It doesn't say mortal wounds. It says delete the model. So we're going to get rid of 7 zombies, which is not the end of the world if you're the undead player. So we're going to shave off the ones down here. So there's 6. And the guy in the back, 7 that are going to die there. Now, however, this guy here is going to take 2d6 mortal wounds. Oh, excuse me. I got to roll a 6 for each 6+1 model unit is slain if the unit has wounds characteristics of 6. All right, so I still got to roll a 6 on him. That's not as good as I thought it was. Oh, so that's a 5. So for some reason, when I initially read that, I thought it was just an auto 2d6 mortal wounds, which is huge. It probably wouldn't just be 100 points. It'd probably be 200 points or something. Okay, so it's still in his face and it's still bothering him. So that's that. But now, the undead player gets to go. So I gave him a second command point. And what to do, what to do. I could try to dispel this here. All I've got to do is roll higher than its casting cost and just get it out of the way and recast it if I really want to. But that's in lieu of doing anything else with the caster. We've already got locked in here these two, that one and that one down there. You can see the hourglass over there. We've already got those. We just got to get that center one and hold it for a couple of turns. And the nice thing is, if we take a look over here, we've got still a good horde of those zombies. We've still got what, -7, 23, and we could start pushing up those chain rasp hordes and get these guys circled around and just really kind of swarm that center piece to be able to get a hold of it. I'll tell you what I am going to try to dispel this with this fella here. So it's got a casting value of 8. I need to beat an 8. And I got an 8. That's not going to work. Now I am going to have this guy cast Dance Macabre. It's a casting value of 6. Try to get them to get a double pile-in on this fella here. I got that. Now I still think he is outside 30 inches still, so they'll be able to pile in and attack twice. He'll go ahead and use his command ability there to get them to reroll all those again. So I wasted it the first time, but I should be able to get it in this time, hopefully. And really all these guys got to do is just trench in here. So they're fine. They're just going to hang out. These guys are going to just kind of skittle back here. So we're going to advance with these guys. Is the other one? That's minus nothing. Oh, it's at least 1. So they're going to get a full move of 6, and then these guys here are going to advance as well. So that's 11 plus 1. So it's their base. So everybody's at their base move, and then this guy's up here just going to scuttle back, like so. There. These guys will move their 3. These guys here are just going to advance. So we're going to go ahead and roll this. So that's plus 2 only. So they're going to get a total of 5. So they've moved up there. Now they ran, so they couldn't charge this guy, but I think they're a little bit out of range. Now they're probably a good charge roll away. I think we're going to scooch this guy just over here a bit, just to make it difficult for that Mega Boss to maybe fly in and land and cause him havoc. And we'll scooch the Necromancer up a bit. Leave everybody else, all those Night Haunts that are over there hanging out. So let's see, zombies. Can you run? That's a 5. That's actually a 4 because of the Earthquake, but since they have the Noisemaker ability, they can just move 6. So let's see what we got here. We can get in 6. Yeah, so that's fine. So that's plenty of room. So we made our charge. They're just enough, just in the right range. We will be able to pile in a little bit and get some more attacks in. Not really too effective, but we'll see. And that's that as far as all the movement and charges go. So let's pile these guys in, get some attacks in, and see what's going to happen. Pile in. I don't care if I get the Ironjawz guys behind the tree. Inside, that's okay. Okay, so they've sort of piled in there. I got some other guys there scooched in around the ruins. So again, they'll be able to pile in and attack twice. They're going to get to reroll hits and wounds and even their saves. Of 1, I should say, not just any misses, but of 1. Now they're terrible in combat, so let's see what we got here. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. We got 10 of them in there, hitting on 5s and 5s. Let's see, get any 5s. 2. Again. Nothing. Did we get any 1s there? We did get 2 1s out of that. Let's see. There's 1. 5. Oh, we got 1. That's going to go against the 3-up save. There you got it. I was going to say I'd be pretty embarrassed if the one zombie got a hit on him. Now these guys are going to get to attack again. So I think what we want to do, let's just give you a better angle here. We could have these guys here pile in and do some stuff, but I think this guy's going to do a little bit more damage back to them. So he's going to go ahead and throw his weight into them. So he's going to throw all his stuff into the zombies. Well, I'm not going to say anything until it happens. And he gets all kinds of fun attacks. So, let's see. First, we're going to do 3 attacks with his Haka at 3-up. That's all those, and then 3-up to wound. Okay, that's a -1 rend. Oh, of course, then there's no save on a zombie. So these are 2 damage each, so that's 6 damage. So I'm going to just keep a running total here. So that's, I'll just keep a die off to the side there. So that's 6 dead so far. I'm going to do 4 attacks at 3s. And 3s again. That's 2 more. And these are 1 damage each. So now we're up to 8 dead. And that's enough out of the boss himself. Now we're going to do the big green dragon. So we get 4 attacks on 2s. I can't believe that. So he's going to hit this. 3 is a wound. There, these are -2, doesn't matter. 3 damage each, so it's another 6. So we're up to 14 dead. And then we get D3 attacks with the tail. So that's 2 attacks on 4s. Nothing. So that's going to be 14 dead. We'll just take them from the back. And we're just going to do 10 attacks again. Back from the zombies, another second try. 5s. There's a little bit better. There's 4 hits. 5's the wound. Oh, there's 3. 3-up save. Gets them all. And then we're going to have these guys pile in a little bit here and do some attacking. We haven't had a chance to fight with these guys yet. So they're going to pile in. I'm going to get 3 guys in there. They all got some different stuff here. The brutes tend to be a little bit more interesting to fight with. So they have 3 different kinds of weapons. We're going to go ahead and do this boss claw guy. He's got this like little claw thing where you can sort of grab him and pull him. So if you hit with the claw, which we got 1 attack on a 4-up. Yep, got it. So that means that his brute smasher, this little mallet here, is going to auto hit. But let's finish out the boss claw. So he's going to do 3-up. Got that. That's a -1 rend, 2 damage. So that's 2 dead. The other one's an auto hit, but it's going to wound on a 3, and that's 2 attacks. That actually won't generate 2 attacks, so 2 3s I'm looking for. So there's 1. -2 doesn't matter. D3. That's another 3. So that's 5 total dead zombies out of him. And we're going to do this guy. He's got the jagged gore hacka thing. So he gets 3 attacks. That's 3s and 3s. So 3s again. And these are 1 damage each, so it's 2 more dead. And the last guy's a normal guy. He gets 4 attacks, 3s and 3s. 3s again. And that's 3 more dead. So that would be 8 more zombies. I mean, I could have moved up one of these heroes to give them that 6-up. But no thanks. I don't. They're just there to kind of mess around and stall things out. Throw some bodies up there. And so I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Down from 30, so that's 22. So I'm already losing 12. So the whole unit is just going to disappear. For Battle Shock, I could spend a command point. I think they just went up there and died. But I can bring them back. No big deal. So we're just going to take the rest of these away. So that's it. Now currently, at the end of their turn 3, the Legion of Sacrament holds all 3 objectives. So they just got to hold them. Now, I don't think that these zombies are going to last very long. But, again now, with the Ironjawz player, we've got some casters back here. They can now make use of the Realm Gate and port some guys back here, maybe, to deal with some things. But remember, there's the Purple Sun, which could be back on them. This guy's a pretty decent unit, the Coven Throne. So, certainly interesting stuff left. So we're going to go into Ironjawz turn 3. So we got a couple of different things that we can do here. Now let's move over here to the Realm Gate. Now we're not in the movement phase yet, but this particular unit right here is wholly within 6 inches of the Realm Gate, and we've got a caster here within 6 inches of the Realm Gate as well. So we want to leave them hang tight and they can port out of the realm gate over to this other realm gate. They have to stay wholly within 6 inches, but 9 inches away from enemy units. So I'm not sure if that's possible. And just using this little fella here to help me measure around, it's currently not possible. So you can bet your bottom dollar the Nighthawk guys are going to close this off to make it for sure not possible in the future. And that's why you don't rush everybody up into the middle of the table. So the reason I was measuring that out, so if I could port a unit through there, I could do a few different things. I think regardless, I'm going to go ahead and speed up time. So I'm actually going to add 2 to the movement and 2 to the charge rolls for everybody on the table. So that's going to hopefully help us get these guys up this flank and try to pick that one off. And then we're going to over here, I think, have, yeah, do I want the mega boss going over there? Yeah, so I don't have to worry about this realm gate. There's no way the Nighthawk player is going to try to come through here. I don't see a scenario where that would make sense, because why would they leave their objectives over here? And on their move, they're going to surround that even more unless I can get through some units. So we definitely still got to probably lock in this middle one. Well, I tell you what I am going to do. I'm not going to spend any command points or anything just yet. We are going to have some guys here cast spells. He's going to try his Foot of Gork thing again, which is a 10. Let's go for it. Screw it. Ooh, we got a 10. But can it be unbound? Oh, it certainly can. But be by this guy on the Coven Throne there. So let's see if he can do that. So he's got to roll 11 or 12. Nope. So now we're going to roll a die for each unit within 10 inches of this guy that was from that battalion. Are these guys within 10? Oh, yes they are. So that's 1, 2, 3. These guys are not within 10. Nope. So we're going to roll 3 dice. 1, 2, or 3 goes further, 6 inches. So it's going to get an extra 6 inches. So it's a total of 24 inches with 2 more mortal wounds. So what could I zap? Yeah, I can go ahead and zap that guy over there, the Coven Throne. So it's going to do D6 plus 2 mortal wounds. Then if I roll a 4 after that, it's going to do it again, and then again, and then again. So we're going to go D6 plus 2. So that's 4. We're going to see on a 4 plus. Oh, it's only 4. But this guy is a leader, so he can roll get a 6-up save, Deathless Minion on all those. So let's see. 6s. He prevents 1 of those. That's it for the hero phase. I could try to cast the Burning Head with this guy, but nah, I can't really get it far enough in. So we got a little damage on him. I think I'm going to go ahead and move this sucker up. Get him just outside 3 inches of these stupid zombies. Now everybody's got +2 to their move. So we're going to go ahead and run these guys. 1. So that's going to total out to 6 with all those modifiers. So scooch them over here behind these trees to try to make a beeline over there. These guys are they're sort of softened up. We're going to go ahead. This guy kind of advance. He's going to help them with their charges. So there. So that's going to be a 9. When I said help him with the charges on their next turn, he's got a command ability to make them charge better. And if he gets kind of close in, he can do some mortal wounds himself. Maybe cast that Burning Head, help them out. We'll go ahead and advance our War Chanter there as well. Yeah, we're just going to kind of advance everybody. He can stay within 12 of this, and then he'll be okay. And he's still got some decent range on his spell casting, and he'll hopefully get him a little bit closer to the Ard boys up there so he doesn't lose his buff from that battalion. So we're just going to run and advance all these people. So the dragon's in business. He's got his buddies with him. Let's see. We don't really need to do much in the way of charging or anything other than the boss. The big boss. That's plenty. Oh. Well, I could jump him around. I rolled an 11, so I could jump him behind these guys. But no, it puts me close to that sun. Nah. So that's just going to scooch him up into here. I'm just going to push that out of the way a bit. Move this slightly. Okay, we don't have any other charges or anything. These guys are already in combat up there. Do I worry about the zombies even? And I'm not gonna worry about the one Hex Wraith though. So let's just do the Mega Boss into the whole troop of zombies, see how he does. Oh, he did have a shooting attack actually. I didn't even do shooting. Let's just do that first. I completely forgot that guy has a shooting attack. He didn't run or anything. So he gets, let's see, 1 attack on a 2+. There's a shot. That is that. 3+ to wound. He gets that. And -1 rend doesn't matter. D6 damage. Alright, so that's 2 damage. So I can peel off 2 zombies from there. Now let's get into melee combat. So we're going to do 3 attacks, 3s and 3s. Yep, that's how I roll. 3s. And those are 2 damage each, so 2 more zombies. And 4 attacks, 3s and 3s. 3s again. And those are 1 damage each. And we're going to go into Mr. Crusher. So these are 4 attacks on 2s and 3s. Ay, ay, ay. 3s. Okay. Should use his command ability, but I didn't think. Oh, these are 3 damage each. So that's 6 zombies. Let's just see. D3 attacks. That's 3 attacks. 4s. 3s. So 6 more. Okie dokie. So he wrecked them. The zombies don't really need to worry about attacking right now because they're going to get to do it in a second. So we're going to do Mr. Hex Wraith all by his lonesome. Try to peel off a couple of those guys. 4s and 3s looking for 6s. There's a 6. That's a mortal wound. That's it. And I don't think anybody has a wound on that side. So we're going to just dish out a mortal wound to this Joker and the top there. And we're going to pile them in just to get rid of him. So 2 attacks each, so that's 10. 4s, 3s, 4 up save. He's got to get all of them. Nope. So I got about a 3-inch pile in. Got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 attacks. 5s and 5s. Super duper zombies that don't get to do jack. So 5s. That gives us 1, 2, nothing. So that's it for combat. We lost 12 zombies out of there, and we're gonna get basically 2 plus D6 left to leave, so 5 more. And these 3, and then the 2 here on the end. Okay, so we're gonna do, I think that's the end of round 3. So I think the Nighthaunt or Legion of Sacrament there, I keep calling them Nighthaunt, are still in good shape. So let's see what this gives us. Okay, so Nighthaunt actually get a choice now. But again, we have this purple sun, you can see tucked in there behind the Coven Throne. If I let the Ironjawz go second, then they can move that Coven Throne right on there. But it's not as bad as I thought, because only on a 6 does it do 2d6. But it could jack the Necromancer up, which he's kind of pointless now all the zombies are dead. He could shove it back there. Oh yeah, he could shove it back there over the Chain Rasps and kill a lot of them and take out maybe some other. Well, that's dangerous there. That's certainly dangerous because we do have our objectives. So if we let them go first, they still got to move up. We've got only 1 more round after this. So we're going to let the Ironjawz go first. We're going to then move that purple sun up. Now I can move 9 inches. Oh, here's the thing. I can't even get it 9 inches. I can get it, I mean, I get it 9 inches, but I can't get it within an inch of this guy because we have this buffer of zombies there. So it can't even get within an inch. So that's, but I can move it. I can get it out towards them at least threaten them with it. So that's fine. So I'll go ahead and let them go first still. And then we can get this 9-inch up here. And now that helps clog up this lane here. So these guys and these guys still down here have a ways to go to get over there. And we've got only 1 more turn after this one. So they're only going to get 2 movement phases. This is going to be, I think it's going to be all right. So we'll do that. Then the Ironjawz guys are going to go first. Now our buddy the shaman here is going to try to cast his Foot of Gork again. Remember, I needed 10. So we'll see if I get lucky there. Nope, doesn't get it. He is still within 12 inches of the cogs, these fellas here. So he's still within 12 inches of those. I'll put them back where they were. So he's going to go ahead and keep time sped up. And that's going to add 2 to the movement, to the charge rolls. So we've got 2 command points now for these guys. So that's it for the hero phase for these guys. I'm going to save those command points for the battle phase. This guy is going to technically retreat here. Since he's got his 2 movement, he doesn't care about these zombies. Now he's not going to be able to charge and stuff this turn, but he should be able to get off. Yeah, see, that's kind of a bummer. Maybe I shouldn't have charged them into these zombies. I should have flown them past. I was too afraid of that purple sun. So he's going to go ahead and do a quote-unquote retreat, but he can fly, so he can fly over them. See, that's a little too bad. I actually have this guy here, this Grot Shaman. He could make him, allow him to charge if he ran, but he's not the general. He has to be the general to be able to do that. So we're just going to go ahead and move this guy up, get him just outside 3 inches over about there in the middle of the field. Yeah, he's outside 3 inches anyway. So unfortunately, he can't charge and do some damage this turn. Yeah, he's probably going to get jacked up by those chain rasps, but we'll see. Not much they can do. They got kind of a really sort of unfortunate roll there with that. We'll go ahead and let's see how far they can move. Yeah, these guys got to advance because they're not going to be able to get in charge range. So they move down here. They got these pesky walls in the way. There's still a good way around towards that. Here's the thing. I'm going to get 1 more movement in. There's only 5 of these guys. And there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 of them. Shoot. I think this might be all she wrote, actually. Which is unfortunate. So I don't think I need to play this out. Because these guys can come up here and screen these guys. There's no way they're going to get through them. They got so many models over here with the chain rasped horde. This guy's not going to chew through all of them. He's only 1 model. And so it's just the most models. These guys are going to be too slow. Everything's going to be kind of locked down over here with the relic, the realm gate, and everybody's moved too far away anyway over here. So it's not really worth playing out. So a couple things happened here. We'll just kind of do a quick review while I'm sitting here instead of going back to the talking head. So obviously super bad rolls for the Ironjawz players having both of these objectives here. That's number 1. So I think that's the game, honestly, a little bit. Because if we had had 1 back on this side, then we could have split and had a nice little battle. You know, in retrospect, maybe cinematically, I should have just re-rolled 1 of these to split it, because that would have been a little bit more interesting. But I think in that case, that might have just handed the game to the Ironjawz player, because they could have locked down here. This big body of a mega boss could have locked that down. Now, of course, the Coven Throne could have come in. That would have been a little bit more interesting. Now, on second thought, I was a little bit too afraid of this purple sun. This is the first time I'm playing with it. Slight misread of the rules, thinking that it does 2d6 wounds all the time. Meanwhile, I should have flown up this mega boss earlier. I should have just skipped right over these zombies that were there. Screw them. Because remember, he was back here in this little spot? I should have just flown him over there, jumped him into that troop over there. Then I had a couple more turns to grind through combat, and then you know, pull some guys in, maybe even attacked this leader. These guys did nothing. They just sat back there, which I think was the correct move, but I could have granted them, maybe cleared some space here around the realm gate, and then poured some other people through to do that. So overall, so there was some mistakes, some bad luck, I think, in terms of the Ironjawz player. I think definitely if we didn't get both of these objectives over here, it would have been a little bit more interesting of a game to do that. But also, I think there were some tactical mistakes from my part on playing the Ironjawz player. And things, they got kind of spread out and everything, and these guys move really slow. And the whole earthquake thing. Oh, yeah, I had put the realm gates in here just kind of a fun thing, and to port around, thinking that it would sort of alleviate somebody getting out of position in some ways to do that. But it turned out to not really make much of a difference, because all you got to do is kind of pile around it. And I didn't even have to really use these gravestones. I thought maybe, honestly, I thought the Legion of Sacrament had it made, because you can just pump guys out of this. I didn't even have to do that just because there were so many bodies to chew through. And so maybe that the movement adjustment sort of made it a little bit of a hindrance, because you were shaving off one movement and one on the runs and all that stuff from the Ironjawz player. I don't know that made that much of a difference. So anyway, good kind of learning experience there. A little bit of stuff with the endless spells. So there you go, 2,000 points, sort of anticlimactic ending, but you know, I'm not just going to play it through and roll a bunch of dice for no reason. So that's that. Thanks for watching.